Coming out for me was the best thing I ever did. From going from that scared guy that used to walk down the street, head to the floor, to just head held high. I'm that sort of guy now. I've completely changed. I'm happier, I'm more confident, but surely that's what everybody should be.
Hello and welcome to Chaps Out with me, Grant Philpott, the podcast where I talk to men about coming out later in life and get to have the conversations I wish I'd heard when I was looking for advice. Conversations we still don't hear often enough in the UK. This podcast is for anyone navigating their own personal coming out journey wherever you may be. And remember, you are not alone. My guest today is a theatre lover from Peterborough who's been performing since he was 13 and has a passion for all things creative. He's worked as a carer for his family, a holiday park entertainer, and now works front of house at his local theatre. So I'm pleased to welcome my guest today, Jonathan Tibbs. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Really, really good to see you. Yeah, you've been working in the theatre and you're serving drinks at the moment?
Yes, I was also an usher as well. So it's been usher and then worked into the bar. So, and I've served ice creams and all that. So, yeah, it's good fun.
You've seen quite a few shows, I imagine.
Yes, as an usher, I saw quite a few, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, let's crack on. We're here to talk about when you came out later in life. So what age were you when you came out?
I came out at the age of 46 last year in April. It was... I'd always known sort of I was gay, but it wasn't until last year. I've been out a year and a half now, so, and things have totally and utterly changed for me. It's wonderful, actually. I've been one of the lucky ones. It really is. I've met lots of new friends, and I've joined social groups, LGBTQ social groups, and it's just wonderful to meet new people who get you.
It's wonderful to hear. Yeah, you started to find a kind of community and
a family, really.
Lovely. Yeah. So let's talk about growing up and that sort of how you got to that sort of stage of coming out. Then, so
I always was, I suppose I hate the word, but a normal kid. I was an 80s kid, so I was He-Man and Thundercats and all those sort of things. So I was waving sticks about like swords, so I was very much the girls didn't come into it sort of thing anyway. I wasn't noticing boys, I wasn't noticing girls. And of course, hits my teens, and I was sort of, well, I'm asexual. I'm not interested in anybody.
Right, yeah.
And then I hit about 18, 20, and I was looking through my mum's magazines like Women's Own and all that sort of thing. And I noticed the chat lines in the back of the books. And for some unknown reason, at that time, I was drawn to the gay chat line.
Oh.
And yes, I did ring one. And yeah, I liked it. Fine, this is it, And then you go through your late teens, early 20s. Am I, aren't I? Girls don't seem to be interested. Well, I'm a big guy, so that doesn't surprise me, that sort of thing. And I went through my 20s, my 30s, just going, well, I could be asexual, but I like guys. But as I worked on the holiday parks, people would say, because the other guys were gay as well, so our holiday owners would say, oh, here comes the third gay one. I'm not gay. You can't say that about me. I was still fighting it. And it wasn't until 46, a friend of mine from the Amdram group contacted me, asked me if I liked him. And I said, yeah, well, we're friends. So of course I like you. no, do you like me? Can I ask, are you gay? And he was the first person that I said, yes, I think I am gay. And that was it. And I came out to him. The next night, we sat in his car, snogging like teenagers. It was actually sort of oh my God, this is it. I had created a whole life for us. Of course, it didn't work out. It was the first time, It was just, looking back, so funny now. I mean, the end of the world when he said he didn't want to see me out like that. It was a one-off thing, But I will say, I have sort of reliving my teenage years the way they should have been lived at the time. And what happened was I came out to everybody 4 days later on Facebook, because everybody always used to ask if I was gay. No, I'm not gay. I've just not found the right woman yet. All that palaver. And I just put on Facebook and I said, you were right. I was wrong. I am gay. I expect you're all going to unfriend me now. And all I got was, well, we knew, we were just waiting for you to say, or we thought you was. Sort of an anticlimax, really, because nobody went, oh, we hate you, we're not going to talk to you. Well, I had a feel like that, but mainly it was, so. Because I contacted two of my friends who I'd known since primary school. I told her, and she went, don't worry about it, nobody cares. And then I told one of my female friends from the underground group, and she just went, well, I always thought you would.
Yeah.
And as I put it on Facebook, everybody was just going, don't worry, well done for coming out. I've got a gay son, so I'm proud of, everybody was saying I'm proud of you. Sadly, Mum and Dad were gone, so I never got to tell them. But looking back, Mum and Dad did sit me down once and say, you do know if you or your brother came out gay, we wouldn't mind. When I came out to my brother, I asked him if he ever had this talk. No, I never had this talk. So it was sort of, Mum and Dad knew. They were trying to say, it's okay, get on with it, sort of thing. Yeah. It was in that sense. They really obviously didn't care, but I just couldn't tell them at the time. And then my friend contacted me and said, this might interest you. Peterborough Pride are looking for people to volunteer. Okay, so I contacted the guy that's now one of my friends. And I thought, after I contacted him, well, what do I know about Pride? What do I know about anything? How can I've never been to a Pride, so I don't even know how to volunteer help, or I'm jumping in here with both feet. Calm down, slow down. I heard that he was actually a counsellor. So I'd only spoken to him on Facebook, and I was imagining this old guy, suited, tie, very stuffy, and he invited me to the first one of the first walks, because they do walks around parks in the summer. And I met this guy, and he's a lovely guy. He's got a Mohican, all colours if it's Pride, different colour each week, and he's such a nice guy. And then, of course, it went to dinners out and coffee mornings and all different things. And then I go to a drag night on a first Thursday of every month. Yeah. I never really did like drag. To be perfectly honest, it terrified me. All I knew about drag was the language they use, the picking on the audience, and it took me right back to being at school, being bullied, and I thought, I ain't gonna like this one little bit. Got there, first couple of months, because it was only once a month. Yeah, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
And then I went to a nightclub. It has a gay night every Tuesday, an LGB and college night, student night. And they'd been asking me quite a while to go. And I kept umming and ahhing. And one of my friends said, don't worry, it's not like Police Academy, the Blue Oyster Club where they're all in leather. He said, "You've got no worries, don't worry, it's nothing like that." So I went, and I met my friends there, but the first person they introduced me to was one of the drag queens. And they are such a lovely person. They sort of took me under their wing because they could see I was totally and utterly petrified, didn't know what was going on. Stood at the bar having a drink. I don't know what I'm doing here, sort of thing. And it was just, no, come with us, join us, sort of thing. And you soon forgot that they were these 7 foot tall drag queens in high heels, 2 foot wigs, and these dresses and everything. They're just people. And that was a lovely thing. And it's just gone from strength to strength. I've been one of the lucky ones. I've not had the calls in the street or anything. I mean, first coffee morning, I'll be perfectly honest, as I left, a bloke on the other table said, "That bloke's a F word." Oh. But it didn't bother me. It really didn't bother that I'd just been with these lovely people. And I walked into this pub, I didn't know anybody. And of course, you sit on your own because you don't know where they're sitting. I'd let my phone run down, so nobody could just text me and say, "Oh, we're sat so-and-so in the pub." And this guy came over to me and introduced himself and said, "Are you Jonathan?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, we're sat over here." So I walk over there, and this lovely lad with disability took one look at me and said, "You're effing gorgeous." So suddenly that was lovely. That was a big confidence booster.
Lovely.
So, it was just, and you just sit there when you talk, you just feel like this is what I should have had in my teenage years. Why couldn't I have done it back then? It's just the acceptance. It really is. Nobody, I was terrified to come out. I really was. I remember talking to my friend who contacted me and asked me if I liked him. I was actually shaking so much that I dropped my phone on the floor. Yeah. And I was terrified. And after that night, it took me 4 days to actually come out. But when I came out, it was a weight lifted off my shoulders. I seemed to be walking taller, my head held high. It was just actually noticing guys in the street sort of thing. Yeah. And not saying anything, but just actually noticing people, because I'd always been a very shy and quiet person. The only time I wasn't shy is when I was acting on stage. Yeah, that's when I sort of came out, and I'd made the acting side of things my life, because I think, looking back, I hid behind it. It was, in that sense, it was sort of without hiding, I was playing these people I could never be, sort of thing, in that sense. So it was...
Well, you put a version of yourself, right? The heterosexual version of yourself. And you're allowing yourself then to look at guys in the street and going, it's fine, because you've got nothing to hide.
No, it's just, he's quite nice, and that's how you go by. And
because you can enjoy it with your mind is not worrying about the those thoughts.
Exactly. It's not that sort of, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? Yeah, I know people are still going to say things and that if you walk in the street and they notice you've got your badges on, because I do sometimes wear pride badges and things. And
we were asking for trouble then.
Yeah. But now I don't care.
That's lovely, yeah.
I just don't care. If you want to say something, say it. I'll bat it off. Where once upon a time I would have shrunk, I would have tried to hide myself. It's just, don't bother now. It's just nice to have friends. Yes, I've got trans friends, I've got lesbian friends, I've got friends of the whole rainbow that I never thought in a million years when I was a teenager I'd ever have that. I went on a trans march in Peterborough to support the trans community. I've done the AIDS, we had an AIDS vigil last week or the week before when it was AIDS Day. I went to that, and it's just, we just stand there in the middle of town and people just seem to either ignore us or just say something. And if it's all together, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when I'm on my own because nobody seems to notice. They still don't seem to notice me, but that doesn't bother me anymore.
No.
It's not that I'm not noticed for the wrong reasons or I'm noticed for the right reasons. It's just, well, if you're not noticing me, that's fine. I'm just getting on with I've got a life now to get on with. I don't need your acceptance. I don't need your hatred. I don't need anything. Yes, I want to be accepted by the normal community, but you're not the be and end all. I am an overthinker. I always have been, but it's now I don't walk the street thinking, what are people thinking about me? Or what are people gonna say to me? Or what are people gonna this? What are people gonna that? Don't even think of people. I just on my own, walking my little street, I go to the nightclub on a Tuesday night, have a dance, watch the drag queens, and it's just I've always liked dancers anyway, but you know, you have these wonderful dancers and they want to talk to you. They want to involve you in their show. They want you. I know you're part of the audience and they involve everybody in the audience, but they come to me. This is the first time, even as an actor, it's sort of, when I was not on stage watching a show, I was sort of in the background, but now I'm no longer in the background. I'm just connected.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say to anybody, if you're lucky enough, come out, do so. There's always certain people you don't even realise are gay. They are, or lesbian, bi, whatever. It's all, you'll be surprised at who you meet, who you're going to know. I've been working with this guy a year at the theatres, and he walked into the drag night and we were talking, and you know, it was, oh, you're part of the community sort of thing. And it was just never in a million years would I have thought you was part of the community. And I shouldn't think that, I know, but you do. It's just you look at certain people, never in a month of Sundays sort of thing.
It's so exciting for you, isn't it? Having all those guys just completely different, a whole range of really interesting, different people.
Interesting life. I've finally got the life I wanted as a kid.
I can see how excited you are.
Silly, really. I came out, and I'll be honest, I was looking at photos, seeing if I could, if there was a photo that was what I thought would be gay looking, if you like.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know I was gay myself. Come on. But not until my 18, 20-year-old, it would suddenly click. But all these people kept asking me from 16. Everybody was going, are you gay? Are you this? Are you that? And, no, I'm not gay. I just haven't met the right girl yet. And it was, but I knew I would. Guessed I was, like I say, because I went on 2 dates with 2 girls, and it was like going out with your sister.
Right.
There was no kiss at the end of the night. Nothing like that. It was just having a meal out with 2 girls. There was nothing there, like I suppose straight men have, you know. There was not. I was just talking to this girl about things, and then of course, it didn't happen. So I was going through my 20s and 30s going, I think I'm gay, but I'm more asexual if I am anything. I'm asexual because I'm not interested in anybody, but actually I'm secretly like that guy that I'm on stage with. He's quite nice, but I can't say I like him because if I do, what are people going to think? And it was just, no, I'm asexual. I even did say to my mum, I said, if anything, I'm asexual. I said, because nobody wants me. I said, I don't want anybody. Secretly, yes, I did, but it's you're trying to hide the persona. And I must admit, I have got this photo of me. Yeah, I'm drunk in this photo, but I've got my arms outstretched quite theatrically. And you just think, he's gay. He's definitely gay. I can see what people are saying. That guy is definitely gay. That is me.
Yeah, that asexual thing, what was your shield just to deflect the attention on that?
It was all a big deflection because I was talking to my friend and she said, you used to go on about liking girls. Do you think you're bi? And I said, be perfectly honest, mate, it was all a deflection. I said, women do absolutely nothing for me. Put a guy in a room next to me and a woman in a room, I know which one I'm going for, sort of thing now. It was, and I said, I've always known that, but it was just, I couldn't say, I could not. And I still to this day do not know why this guy who I came out to, why I came out to him. I mean, yes, I had a secret crush on him, I'll be perfectly honest. But I just brushed it off again. And he asked me, and the words that came out of my mouth to him was, yes, I am gay. And it was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, my brother's asleep in the next room. What if he's just heard me say that? I've been thinking for a while, do I come out? No, because I don't even know if I am gay. I don't. I was still fighting it. I went down fighting. I really did. It was, no, I'm not gay, just not met the right girl. Up until quite recently, I really fought it. I really did, which is absolute. Looking back, the way I acted now seems so ridiculous because the happiness I have now, as most people have said when I do mention it, they can tell in my voice, in the way I act, I'm just being more me than I've ever been. I'm being the me that was on stage, but there could only be me when he was on stage, sort of thing. But I'm that me all the time now, sort of thing. And it's just, in that sense, it's whether it'll change as time goes on, I don't know. But it's, in that sense, I do find it laughable. I find myself laughing at myself more and more these days, just because of how comfortable I am and how uncomfortable I was. I could not say those words, I am gay, for 30 years. That night I said to him, I am gay. It took me 4 days to actually come out and tell the world. And it took me an extra day to tell my brother.
Yeah.
Because
that's not that long though, 4 days, really.
No, it's not. But he gave me what I'd never had, confidence. He'd given me that connection. He was sort of there for me. Yes, he didn't want anything else than what we did. But I still to this day say I am so grateful to him contacting me and actually saying, do you like me? Can I ask you a private question? Are you gay? And instead of going, no, I'm not gay, I haven't met the right girl yet, I went, yes, I am gay. And it was thanks to him. And after I'd actually said it that day and thought about it, I did think about it for 4 days. And it was literally, now you've said it, it's not that bad. I've come out to myself. Now I've got to take that step and come out to everybody else. Even if they don't want me, disown me, I now know who and what I am. I feel confident in me. I don't give a damn about them anymore. And it was, yes, I've lost a few cousins and that. Fine, they can't accept it. That's their problem.
Mm.
You can't live your life for other people. You have to live it for yourself. And that's what I was doing. And I know, as I say, mum and dad, the way they did that, if you turned out gay, we wouldn't be bothered speech. I mean, but using my brother as well in there, and my brother going, no, I never had that. I know they would have accepted me. They accepted my cousin because he came out at a very young age. He's about 30 years younger than me. So he's from another generation where it seems to be easier for the younger guys to come out, and he just came out, and his mum always knew anyway. And when he told them, my mum and dad, was it his aunt, his great aunt and great uncle, they weren't bothered. And that when they said to me, we wouldn't be bothered if you were gay, the thought was, you said that about my cousin, but he's your great nephew. I'm your son. There is that. You say you're okay with it, but would you really be okay with it, sort of thing? But I do think, since being out, I just can't see why they wouldn't be giving me that speech if you or your brother was gay.
There's definitely something to it. Yes.
Yeah.
It's nice for you to take that, because I think you can expand that to basically say they would have been cool.
This is it. It's, because my dad was a very manly man. He was, and he wouldn't have said things like that if he didn't mean it. He was a very manly. I mean, yeah, I was mummy's boy, but there's another gay trait there, if you like. I was much connected to mum. I loved my dad. I had cuddles with my dad all the while, but I congregated more to mum, and looking back, I used to get pieces of wool, sit behind my mum when she could sit on the floor when I was about 5, 6 years old, tying her hair in bunches with these bits of wool, little ponytails and things like that. Straight guys don't do that.
No.
It's not. Even when we did, all kids put on little plays. Well, Dad's friend, he'd got 2 daughters. What did these 2 daughters do? They dressed me up. We were doing not a panto, but a fairy tale. What did they do? They gave me a makeshift wand and put wings on my back. And what was I? A fairy.
How old were you for that fairy?
I must have been about 5, 6. One of my first memories. So I always thought I was a very heterosexual man. But looking back, it was always there. Cowboys and Indians playing at school. Well, that was just crazy. You caught a cat and Indian, and there you was, tying him up and different things like that. Well, it's not a straight thing to do. Looking back, you just don't seem. Oh, but we're playing with guns, we're playing with swords, but
it's intimate, isn't it?
Yeah,
tying someone
I would
up.
Rescue the princess, but after I rescued the princess, didn't want anything to do with the princess. No, I'm not bothered about getting a kiss off the princess or anything. Go running off playing with your guy mates, your boy friends,
Well, we've got to deny it and all those things going on, haven't we? There's a lot of layers to unpack. But I just want to quickly ask you if you've got any advice or anything for anyone who might be listening. If they're thinking about coming out, and any sort of things that you would probably reflect on that you might have done differently. But it sounds to me like you had a pretty good coming out.
I have been so lucky, and I know not everybody is as lucky as me. They don't have the family unit that I did have. My brother, for one, I thought I was going to lose him, thought he was going to kick me out. And all he said, well, I thought you was gay, you didn't like football. I don't think it really works that way, but thank you. I get where you're coming from. But in that sense, it was everybody I know, or most, 90% of the people I know have accepted me for me. But I know if all I could say with people, if when you do come out, try and find that support, like a social group, because it's once you do come out and you find that social group support, you're never on your own, because people will take you under their wing. I've been so lucky with the people that I have met. I don't feel on my own. When I go out, I feel more me than I do when I'm sat at home with my brother, and that's not anything my brother's doing. It's just that my brother is a heterosexual guy and he's very masculine man, and he has the biggest thing he did for me at the weekend yesterday. He came home and he brought me a notepad. It sounds really silly. It was just a normal notepad, but on the front of the notepad it said, "Sounds gay, I'm up for it." And for the first time, he didn't like it, I'll be honest. I hugged him. I gave him this massive.
Oh.
And I said to him, "Thank you." He said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "You don't realise what you've done." I said, "You stood in a queue with 'Sounds gay, I'm up for it.' You're a heterosexual guy. What were the people?" He said, "Well, there was a couple of old dears tutting." He said, "But I weren't bothered." He did this for me, and I thought, in a way, subconsciously, he's going, "I don't care, here you go, this is for you," sort of thing. It just made me laugh when he said, "I thought you was gay, you didn't like football," a very heterosexual, manly thing to say, really, or it seemed it to me. But I knew where he was coming from. He was trying. I just said to him, "Well, if you want to tell your counsellor I'm gay, you can do." "What?" I said, "I'm gay. I came out to everybody on Facebook last night." "Oh, okay. I thought you was because you didn't like football." That's exactly how the conversation went, and that was it. That was my coming out to my brother. He didn't shout, he didn't swear, he didn't say, "Get out of this house now." He didn't. All those horrible things that I thought was going to happen didn't happen. Luckily for me, I found more people accepting and welcoming than I have done not. I've been so lucky, and this is what I want for everybody else, to have that same. I've always been that sort, I suppose, a romantic. I have a romantic idea about the world, Coming out for me was the best thing I ever did, from going from that scared guy that used to walk down the street, head to the floor, in his own little space because nobody said out to him, so people didn't say anything to him, to just head held high, walking the street. I'm that sort of guy now. I've completely changed. I'm happier, I'm more confident, but surely that's what everybody should be. If everybody could just and accept everybody. If you don't like somebody, move it along. You don't have to shout and scream at them and throw insults and slurs, and just leave them to it. Leave us to it. We're having fun. You're having fun your little way. We're having fun in our little way. Just let us get on with it, sort of thing.
I think we can start to wrap up. I would like to trail what you're going to be talking about in Chaps Out culture?
I found a book in a charity shop of all places, which is actually a love story, a gay love story, and it is called Adam and Steve. And it's set in
Okay.
the 80s, and they meet in a nightclub, and things go drastically wrong, and then they meet 15 years later.
I don't want any spoilers.
No spoilers.
All right. Well, absolutely brilliant, Jonathan. Thanks so much for sharing all that with us. And I'm so glad you're happy. And, you know, your coming out has been a positive experience.
I hope I didn't rant too much.
All right. Well, lovely to speak to you.
And you, thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Chaps Out, and my thanks to Jonathan Tibbs for sharing his story with such honesty and warmth. His experience shows that coming out later in life isn't about what you've missed, it's about what you gain, confidence, connection, and the freedom to live openly. As Jonathan says, coming out for me was the best thing I ever did. I'm happier, I'm more confident. If Jonathan's story resonated with you, or if you're somewhere on that path, I hope his words gave you reassurance that you are not alone, and that it's never too late to live as yourself. And please subscribe to Chaps Out wherever you listen so you never miss an episode, along with episodes of our companion podcast, Chaps Out Culture. And you can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram. If you like what we're doing, you can donate via the link in the bio. Your support will help with running costs and keep these conversations flowing. And finally, if you grew up in the UK and came out later in life and have an inspiring story you're willing to share, then please email chapsoutpod@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and take care.